Mm-hmm. Um,
Alan, have you heard anything from Marla?
Not yet, but let me just introduce the show and say welcome everybody to New Realities. This is our weekly program I've been doing for the last couple of months with some of my returning guests and some new guests here. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and I'm being joined lots of weeks by Elizabeth Satoris, who is an evolutionary biologist and has a lot to say about the UFO information. And she's one of the people who've been really looking at this for a long time from many, many different perspectives. I also have Michael Jaliman. What would you say? Michael's an inventor, entrepreneur, just general nice guy, right? And Kat Devine adding to the show. She's a medium psychic channel, just has some incredible UFO experiences. And before we get started on the whole UFO discussion, I want to introduce my very good friend, Neil Gore for PortalToAscension. Unmute yourself, Neil, and tell us a little bit about what you do and what's coming up at PortalToAscension, okay?
Yeah, sure. And if could I share screen during this talk?
Yes, of course, of course.
If you can give me share screen privileges.
Sharing screen privileges. You always, it's my privilege to give you that.
It's the Englishman in me.
Okay, see if that works for you.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to share, and then we'll talk about it. Okay.
Sure. So I'll just do a quick introduction to myself, and I'll skip the journey of how I got to here, but just talk about what I'm currently doing. I run an organization called PortalToAscension. Since 2008, we've been creating events, but since 6-7 years ago, we cultivated this online university in which we're doing many presentations on a range of conscious topics, from extraterrestrials to ancient civilizations to sacred sexuality, sound frequency, and anything that really fully encompasses, anything that is a facet of the fact that we're evolving in consciousness. And so we do a lot on ancient history and delving into that as well. And at this point, after 6 to 7 years of creating this online university, we have around 10,000 hours of presentations, kind of like a Netflix for consciousness, sorted by speaker, category, continue watching, add to a watch list, all of these amazing features. And we create 110 events a year at this point, multi-day summits, conferences, retreats, workshops, webinars. And I'm here just for the beginning of this ET Roundtable to let you all know about an upcoming gathering that I'm going to pull up right here. That's actually only starting in a couple of days, and it's free or by donation. So it's free or by donation, and it's actually going to be on all the platforms that we're streaming on currently, which is Facebook, Alan's New Reality channel, PortalToAscension YouTube channel. We're actually going to be streaming on those as well. So starting October 1st, which is this Friday, going until October 4th, 4 full days, we have an event it's the 5th annual PortalToAscension conference. There's going to be 44 speakers, 4 days, 4 panels, and 8 MCs. And I'm going to share the event with you right now. I'm extremely excited about it. All you have to really do, since you're already on these platforms, is subscribe to whatever platform you're viewing on. You can go to our website, go to online events, and then just click the first one right there, sign up for the Zoom room. But if you prefer to be on YouTube or Facebook, just go ahead and subscribe or like our page, and we'll be going live there as well. But make sure you click the notification bell.
But to get to this on a Zoom, we go to PortalToAscension.org. Is that the website?
Yes. So PortalToAscension.org, click online events. I'll just guide you through it right here. Just come to the website, and it's the first event, just ready to go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So just going to go through it really quick and just explain the intention of this event. Firstly, every event that we do is extremely intentional, but this event has really come together for just a call for unity consciousness to really transcend the division matrix and come together and share wisdom and awareness that can empower us and make us feel united. So not only are we going to be talking about so many different topics, Alan, if you have anything to say while I'm talking, please do,
No, go ahead.
interject.
I'm typing that into the chat.
Yeah. So
PortalToAscension.org.
not only are we going to do have so many different topics there, but when all the speakers asked me like, what should I talk about? All I really said is, well, the theme is unity consciousness. So really stem whatever your talk is from there. So we have an ancient history panel, we have an ascension panel, an experiencer panel, extraterrestrial disclosure panel at the end of every single day. And all these topics, even when we're talking about ancient history, the common theme is going to be what unites us rather than what separates us, and really focusing on our similarities. So I'm just going to show you briefly right here, just a few of the speakers and the days for the panels, and just call a few of them out because obviously there's so many.
Well, I'm sure Elizabeth knows some of these people. Maybe Kat does this. Barbara Lamb, Phil Gruber, of course, Kathleen Martin, who's the daughter of Betty Hill, Dan Winter, everyone knows, my good friends J.J. Hurtak, and William Henry is very, very popular. Who else we have here? Grant Cameron, Mary Rodwell. Do you know
Foster
these people?
Gamble.
Elizabeth, do you know some of these people?
I think she nodded her head, yes.
Oh, okay. She can talk. She can comment if you want, but
Yeah.
and then Adam Apollo. And actually, and Foster Gamble, who's just did the Thrive movie. So this is an all-star cast. And
Michael Tellinger. Michael hasn't presented in 2 years. So this is going to be a huge update on the stone circles and new discoveries over the last 2 years.
Yeah, Neil always does a great conference. And I love hosting that as being one of the MCs and hosting the panels. And Deborah Giusti and Paul Hynek, who's the son of J. Allen Hynek, who has a lot to say about interdimensional ETs. So these at the bottom here are the MCs. I'm always happy to be part of that. So, and one more thing you have coming up, just to do a quick promotion, is the
Starseed Summit, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Starseed Summit is what I'm talking about.
All right.
Yeah.
So we do.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I just want to say I'm also doing a remote viewing 4-class session. Well, let's stop there for a second. And sorry for all this commercial. We'll get to the panel we're doing tonight in a second, but this is just a good opportunity to talk about some of these upcoming events. So I'm teaching remote viewing as it was taught to me by Russell Targ, who was one of the founders of the Stanford Research Institute. So, so just sign up for that. Just go to PortalToAscension. And then the Starseed Summit, which is the first of its kind, really. I don't think we've had a Starseed Summit ever, anywhere. And who's going to be on that is, people know Kamara Jones, who's an incredible artist, my good friend Phil Gruber, Marina Seren, who really does look like a hybrid ET.
A hybrid, yeah.
And Richard Horowitz, who's new to the scene, but he's just written a novel about starseeds. Linda Bachman, who traces starseeds lineages, and Jody Sirota is a good friend of mine who does sound healing, vibration, and she sets the tone for that. So sign up for this also at PortalToAscension.org website. Neil is the genius behind that website. He's dedicated, I would say, your life to transformation.
Thank you, brother.
Right.
Yeah, and just really quick, let me say some more before I head out here. But the conference, I just want to remind everybody, it's free or by donation. So, and I've been saying this on all the podcasts, that there's really no reason, if you're into any of this, there's really no reason not to sign up, because not only, like, the number one reason would be I can't attend, I'm busy, but you get unlimited replay access on our website, which is, as I said, like a Netflix for consciousness. And not only, like, if you go to our website and sign up right now, you get 3,000 hours of free presentations on like every topic under the sun that I thought of over 10 years. And then when you sign up for these events, of course, you get all of those presentations too. And this is how the back end looks. You know, once you sign up and you get access, you can go and take a look at any of these. You can check out documentaries, watch lists, interviews, sort by category, right? Sort by speaker. Alan Steinfeld, look how many events we got with Alan right here.
Right. Thanks. But, you know, also for the people on the panel today, this is, I want to showcase them on some upcoming PortalToAscension platforms. Kat has a lot to offer. And I know Elizabeth is going to make the ET panel on Monday night. If you can, Elizabeth, you are invited. So great. And Kat will talk to you today because she can do so many different things. And I just met her. No, I'm familiar with her work, and she's a channel medium. She taps into these other realms. And I think it's important that we get these higher consciousness people bringing through new messages. And I think that's what Kat can offer here. So anything else?
Brother.
Anything
No,
else?
that's it from me. Just Elizabeth, hopefully you're going to be at the event. I'm going to send you the info too, and she'll be a part of the panel. So I just hope to see some of you guys in a couple of days at the event.
Okay, I did put it on my calendar, and so I can get access to some of the other parts of the conference that come before.
Yeah, I'll send
Absolutely.
you the Zoom link, and you get access to the whole event.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Nice meeting you. Bye, everybody.
So thanks, Neil, for everything. Yeah, I introduced Elizabeth before Neil did his commercial, which was great because it supports everyone doing this. But Kat, do you want to tell people a little bit about your work and what you do and your specialties? And also, she's going to share her ET sightings, her UFO sightings in a bit. So
Sure, thank
yeah,
you,
go ahead.
Well, a little bit of what I do is first started out as an energy healer, but I was being a channel for these beings prior to ever realizing really what was going on. Always been intuitive, didn't realize it until I was really come into my later years here, and but I've seen spirit. So anyway, I've always been connected and I've seen spirit, but I didn't really pursue it. But then when I started meditating, I opened up the doors. And that's when I was becoming more of a channel, a healing channel. And the healing abilities that was coming through me, I could feel the different beings, as we would call them, because I would shift, my energy would shift with them. Each one was different. And when I was working with someone, and people would ask me if I was doing Reiki, but I had no idea what Reiki was because I hadn't been introduced to any of that stuff. And so I started working with, I call them the healers at that time. They named themselves the warriors of my soul, is what they finally named themselves. But
what you said, they named themselves the warriors of your soul?
That is what they told me, yes.
That's an intense title to call themselves.
Yeah. Well, the worries of your soul is what they said. Yeah. So, so then I worked with them for some time, and then I realized the mediumship abilities that I had. And so then I really started developing in my mediumship, evidential mental mediumship. And meanwhile, I was still doing some channeling, but I was, they were channeling through me with words, different languages and tones and things like that. So I kind of practiced. And at that time, I still wasn't aware that there was actually groups like this. Had no idea, didn't know there were teachers, didn't know anything about that. I hadn't been introduced to that. So I practiced on my own, knowing that the people, guides, angels, beings of light, not always. I definitely had an experience on my own that didn't feel very good, but I worked through that. And so I developed to be able to only allow, the wonderful ones that are here for our highest good. And so I kind of do a little bit of everything, really.
Well, maybe you could channel a little bit later on if you want. I mean, if you want to.
I might save that for another time. Yeah.
Well, you want to save that for another time?
I'll save that for another time, yes. But
okay, we could do an interview where you bring that in.
But she should know that we've had, Marla on and other guests on who've, shared different things that came intuitively, and it's interesting for the audience. So if after the conversation goes on for a while and you feel comfortable and you feel safe and protected, and tune in also for your guidance, whether it would be a good thing for you to share some of your intuitive wisdom. And if you get a yes, you can, or you can choose to. But if your intuitive guidance tells you not to, then don't. But it's what he's asking you to do is something that we have frequently done on this show, just for you to know.
Yeah, so whatever you're comfortable with, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, comfortable, and your intuition plus your own personality choice, as well as your intuition.
Okay, thank you. Well, for tonight, I was really, it was an experience that I had back in May. And
Wait, before we go there, just curious, Elizabeth, do you have anything to say about our weekly roundtables and what they've been doing and what kind of space you feel we've gotten to here? Just to kind of,
Well, I'm always amazed at how much fun we have and how long we go on, that we keep having things to say. And I'm missing a few of our regulars. I'm wondering.
I know, and Marla couldn't make it, and Henrietta's in England, and Nadi, I don't know where she is, but we were replaced with new regulars.
Yeah, which is really interesting too. And I'd be happy to have Kat just dive in.
Right. One more second. Do you enjoy? We had a little talk this afternoon. Was that a good talk for you? With the evolutionary leaders
earlier today?
Yeah, earlier today.
I mean, I'm in chronic pain, and it's hard for me to do it, and I had to get up really early. But I can slip myself into performance mode, especially with a platform like this, where people only see you from the neck up and they don't see you hobbling around in pain. So, I'm good at that, but I'm all ears for hearing anything to do with healing these days.
Okay, well, maybe Kat could send you some energy if she feels like it. Anyway, go ahead. What happened to you this May, Kat? Tell us.
Well, I will absolutely send some healing light and energy to you, of course. And not only that, just on a side note, it heals me at the same time. The experiences that when I'm helping someone else, I'm always, it always comes back to me. So I enjoy everything that I do, working with the power of the soul, really, right? So I enjoy every part of it. And so anytime that I can be of service, I absolutely, I try to do it as often as I can.
And you're sort of self-taught. I just want to ask you, you're sort of like.
I am in that healing element, yes. When I realized that I was a medium, I kind of say it like if you're like a basketball player as a kid, you're only going to be as good as you are as a kid, even as until you get a teacher. Right. So when I realized that I could speak to my loved ones in spirit, then I said, well, okay, then I want to get better at this. So then I did get a teacher. I got an amazing mentor. So I've worked with many, many, many over the years. And so that certainly has helped me. And I'm always developing daily. So, that's the practice, so.
Is that your main work, mediumship with beings on the other side, or?
It is right now, yeah. It's, like I said, it started out as doing the healing, but I was doing it locally. So I would do it in groups, and it was very sacred to me, very ceremonial, the way that I really like to do it. Or I would go to someone's home and do a little setup, and again, very sacred and ceremonial for me. No one taught me; it was just guided that way. And but now it's all virtual, so I do it a little bit differently. Yeah, I definitely do it differently now, virtually.
And where do the ETs fit in this whole sort of thing?
Well, that's a great question, isn't it?
It is.
Because ETs are, how many realms are there? Hundreds of dimensions, and
yes.
And so I it's that question is kind of like, well, each individual that I work with, everybody's unique and everybody's different, and they're healers. I call them my guides, my angels, healers, the divine, and also theirs for their highest good. So where they come from, I don't know. Right. So, and at that time, they're all different, and I can feel them. I definitely change. My energy changes with each one of them. So they haven't identified themselves in that way. So I don't know where they are. But as far as the ETs coming in, that have I seen an ET? No, I have not seen an ET. I've had a couple experiences, in my, just here where I live, knowing that they gave me a signal, but they were very far off. So 2 incidences with, I knew it wasn't a star, but they were pretty far. But as soon as I acknowledged it, they gave me that flash, which I'm sure everybody knows and aware of that. But
not really. What, I don't know what you mean. The flash, they gave you what?
So they give me just a big flash of the light from, like, a star doesn't do that, is what I mean. As soon as I acknowledged it and I could see them, you know, and I knew that that wasn't an airplane, then they would give me a flash. So that's happened twice.
But you do feel connected to them somehow, right? Do you feel like?
Well, they wouldn't have given me a flash at that point if I wasn't connected, I guess, right? Somewhere along the lines, I guess, you know, and but that was last year, two times last year. And then this back in May is when, and I've also seen, you know, these clouds that prior to May, I would say that's such a strange cloud. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem to be, you know, it's not moving, or it just looks really unusual. And I kind of just had, you know, that knowing or feeling that it's a fake cloud. And, you know, something was going on behind the scenes is really always how I felt. And so in May, I went outside. It was about 10 o'clock at night to let my dogs out. And it was the only one cloud on this very calm, it was one cloud, and it was a very gentle breeze, and it was a huge cloud. And I said, that is the strangest cloud I've ever seen. And I said, there's something going on behind that. It was like this storm behind it. And so I went and got my husband, got my cell phone, and I started taking a few pictures and taking some videos. And he absolutely said it was incredibly strange as well. So he got his much nicer camera, shall I say, than my cell phone. And so he was taking pictures, and it went on from, again, I don't know when it started. When I went out, it was already there. So about 10 o'clock, I watched it for over an hour, and it was still going on when I left. What
exactly was going on?
So it looked like this crazy thunderstorm behind the clouds. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't, you know, it was too unusual. So there's a lot of footage from that. I won't be showing it tonight here. It's just too long. But I can
some of it you can show. Yeah.
I can show you some pictures of after, because at the time I knew something was going on, but I didn't see a ship or anything until after I looked at the footage and saw the photos. So I kept saying, I know you're here. I know something's going on. Show yourself. Well, they were doing it in the camera because I didn't see it till afterwards. Did
they give you a message of any sorts? Did you feel like a psychic?
So this is how I felt about it. I know this is really strange to say, but I really felt it was like a battle back and forth. That's how aggressive it felt. And, yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Like it was a battle back and forth, not to us, but amongst whatever was behind that cloud. And some of the video footage kind of shows something strange about that as well. So I just felt it was a very, you know, whether it's the light versus the dark, or I have no idea. But I definitely didn't feel it being a calm experience.
So, but was it a negative thing? Was it
not towards us? I didn't feel it was towards us. I felt it was behind the scenes between the two, or between them, is how I felt.
Them meaning these they were like two forces opposing each other, you mean?
That's exactly the feeling I was receiving.
That's interesting and strange.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see some of this, and then we can.
I'll just show you a couple of the images, and I'll have you guys use your expertise for that if you want to share the screen.
Okay. I'll let you share the screen. Let's see here, participants. Yes, share, make co-host. Okay, now you're a co-host, so you can share anything you want. Do you see that now?
Yes, it should pop up. Okay.
Oh, okay. So this is what are we looking at here? This is very interesting.
This is in my backyard. This is the one cloud. And again, these are a lot of, again, depending on whether my phone or my husband or his camera. But I'm going to I'm not sure if I can zoom in here. Let me just see.
You can. So this is South Florida. At 10.
May 7th. The time now, I think it was more about the time is a little bit off there. I think it was more around the 10 o'clock time.
10 o'clock. There's so much. And these are the clouds you saw with your iPhone.
Yes. I guess I can't zoom in, so I'm not sure how much you can see of that.
Well, I think, can I zoom in here maybe? Maybe if I zoom my screen in.
No way for me to show. Oh, wait a minute. I could be wrong. Let me see.
You could zoom. There you go. Are those things in the sky? What are those lights? Yeah. Those 2 dots in the sky?
That's right. So here's this right here, and I'll show you another photo. And a few of these as well.
Now you didn't see this with your eye. They just came up on the camera, right?
That's correct, and on the video. And so these green dots right here.
Oh yeah, they're like, that looks like a triangle ship there. Yeah, I see 3 dots there. Yes, with a little star. Are these stars? What are these lights here?
So some are stars and some aren't, because some of the if there were stars and then the camera would be moving, then they'd all have you'd be able to see the movement in all of them.
These lights above the clouds are what you think?
This definitely feels more of like some little ships or something.
Did they ever get any?
All these little teeny tiny ones, definitely, if I can zoom in a little bit more, they certainly seem like clouds. I mean, stars. These little white ones here were my hand.
I don't know.
But
that one, can you zoom into that bright one right there? Like more, like a little.
That's all I can zoom in on that one.
Oh, that does look like something. What is that? What do you, is that like would you say was a ship, that one that was all lit up?
Well, let me show you a few other ones.
Oh, wait, now this is a close-up of this. What is that?
Well, I have a couple better photos, so let me kind of go through them.
That's very interesting, that little, it looks like a portal opening over your house, sort of.
It was, I can't tell the difference when you're looking at a cloud, how far is the distance of a cloud? I mean, it was enormous. But so up in the top right corner, there's another one up here. So I'm going to zoom in on that.
Okay.
Oops, I'll just move you over there. Let's see, right up here.
Oh, well, it's not a star because it's in front of the cloud, it looks like.
Can you see that?
That light there, with a little red reflection off of it.
Red and green.
Well, I think the red part must be the refraction of the light of the white stuff. I mean, sometimes you get these refractions with bright light, but that's definitely something. I don't think it's an airplane flying through the clouds.
So let me go through a few more and you'll get a good idea kind of what I was seeing here. Let me see if I can just move this back.
And this just happened.
So, and again, this one was over on the right-hand side way up there. So it's the same, this is another picture of it. Oops, if I can bring it over.
And nothing like this has ever happened to you before?
No.
And was the date? Oh, that's a nice lightning strike. What was the date of that? I'm just curious.
This is May 7th. So here's another one in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to zoom that in. Nope.
Okay. Oh, wait, wow, what is that? That's very strange. Red, and there were no red lights in the sky, and those look big. That looks like a big formation. I mean, what do you get from that, Kat?
And that's just another, for me, it's a ship. And see, there was, I felt that there was many, but so on one of the footages in the video, I could see on the left-hand side that this ship came in, and just like you see in, the images of the UFO, where with the little white light coming down. That happened in one of the videos that I have. I can't.
With like a little beam of light coming
The
down.
beam of light came straight down. Yeah.
Were you aware that there were ships out there when you were doing this?
I felt, I mean, there had to have been, because I knew that this cloud was so unusual, but I didn't see them at the time. So
and that cloud just stayed stationary in the sky
for so long. It was, in fact, some of the other people on, the local Facebook would had put a post that they said it was really unusual, but I don't think they certainly took the time to look at the footage and, do what I did of each, I went frame by frame looking at some of these things.
And why did you go outside anyway to begin with?
For my dogs, they had to use their
Oh.
So here's that one ship in the center, and this picture's a little bit blurry, but let me zoom in for you. And it moves. So here's these lights right here. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
So when I go through the photos, it actually moves from the left right into the center of the cloud.
Wow, nice. Wow, that does look. Elizabeth, what do you make of this, Elizabeth?
So here you go again.
Yeah.
I'm just watching. I want to hear the whole presentation before. Yeah, there it goes again.
Well,
green and red.
Yeah, these images definitely don't show how significant and the video shows definitely all of the lightning, and the lightning was just so incredibly unusual. It literally looked like a battle to me. It felt like a battle to me, back and forth.
A battle. That last one did look like one of those round saucer things with lights around the side of it. Yeah. Interesting.
And when I think about all of these little lights, I don't know if you can see them. They're not in all of them, so it can't be stars. So, and there was no other clouds to cover up the stars. So there's also movement at the top up here, but it's a little unusual to see if I can see that.
How long did this go on for? Oh, that's interesting. Light.
It went on more than an hour. Yep.
And then it was over. Is that it? It was just finished?
No, I after filming for so long, I went in the house So I don't know how much longer it went on for. And so on the left here is these green lights, and I have a couple other images that are much better, and you'll be able to see right here on the left. You can see them.
Are you near the intercoastal or the ocean? Where are you?
I am about 2 miles, just 2 miles west.
From the west of the ocean, of the land, And where were these? Which direction were these clouds? Were they west or east?
They were southeast over the ocean as well.
So you're looking at this over the ocean. Okay. So lightning and I don't know if I've ever heard of lightning flashes and UFOs together, but maybe. I mean.
Wow. It appeared to be lightning, but some of the video, even the lights, that the way it was just, it wasn't normal lightning. Look at that light.
Yeah, can you zoom into the center of that? Like light? Yeah, that is very strange. Was it a hot day? What was the humidity like that day? Was there anything special?
Nope. It was a totally normal day.
At what time of day? What time of day? Is this a night picture?
These are after about 10 p.m.
Okay, so it started around 10 p.m. and you watched it till about 11 p.m., correct?
It was already there when I walked out, so I don't know how long it was there prior to me coming out.
So it looks like the cloud is lit from within.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's what I said. It seemed like a really fake cloud. It never moved. And I had my wind chime, big, huge wind chimes, and the wind chimes were singing. They were moving. So it was a breeze outside, and this cloud never moved.
Okay. Did your dogs have any reaction to this?
I didn't notice because I rushed them in the house to go out and get my phone and tell my husband. So
My other question is, did you feel that the battle was between the same kinds of ships?
that's a
There
good
seems to be one kind of ship, the sort of-
no, there's definitely seem to be different ones, definitely different ships. But then again, we have different airplanes too, right? So I don't know the answer to that. I mean, even see here's more lights that these are not stars. They're clearly not stars. And then the little green lights on the bottom.
So, I mean, one of the things that crosses my mind is if you're in South Florida, where exactly in South Florida are you? I have a brother in Vero Beach, so.
You're a bit north. Yeah, I'm in near.
Okay, so
I'm
you're
in
near where Ed Mitchell lived. Or
Yes,
Yeah,
he lived in
Where-
Lake Worth.
where he had his
Yeah,
farm.
I'm 20 minutes south of there.
Okay.
Yep.
Very interesting. I mean, one of the things I think about if you're in South Florida is whether our dark side military, which does have some very strange flying saucer copy type things, could have been playing around
Oh,
Right.
to create
I-
this.
I-
And so I wondered if your own guidance had said anything about the nature of or origin of whoever was out there having this cat or dog fight.
No, because I saw in the video footage, I saw a ship that came over with the beam of light coming down. So unless that's what the government is putting out there, yeah, I saw the footage.
Have we seen that part of your?
No, I don't have it to show this evening.
Okay.
oh. But what made you think it was a battle between two factions or forces?
A couple of things, because the energy of it, one, was incredibly powerful, and I also felt like it was just it's this feeling, this knowing, this intuition that I had.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you felt the energy in your body? Was it like a pulse vibration?
I felt definitely a little bit more anxious, I guess, and I'm not an anxious person, so I could definitely feel this energy building. Yeah, definitely felt that.
Interesting.
As you were watching it, turn.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Elizabeth.
Am I? No.
No, you're
You can-
okay. Go ahead. Ask it again, Elizabeth.
Okay, I'm curious about this internal lighting that seems so apparent in the cloud, as though there's a lightning storm going on within this cloud.
That's right.
And so I'm wondering, there is all this weather experimentation going on in our world. And I've never seen a cloud lit up like this at night, like the full moon was behind it and the cloud was getting thinner occasionally, but this looks like a very thick cloud, and yet it has this internal light that's very strange, like the lightning bolts are coming from inside it.
That's right, and they're going back and forth. Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Okay.
Oh, there's there was a beam coming down, and that's interesting. That's such a strange craft, that thing, whatever that is. But
If I have, here's another.
there was
one.
like a beam that looked like it was coming out of the cloud in one of that before. Oh, what is that? Wait, what?
It could be movement, obviously, but it's probably here, but then there's movement with it. So
Was this taken with the better camera, some of this, or no?
not with this. This would have been mine.
Your cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there was no thunder with these lightning.
Not a sound,
Ooh,
Wow.
interesting.
which
Wow.
makes it even more unusual, right?
Yes.
Well, do you know what ball lightning is, Elizabeth?
Yeah, but we're seeing lightning flashes here.
Okay.
Ball lightning moves.
Oh,
Usually it rolls along the ground.
Kind of looks like a
Oh.
face right here, doesn't it?
a witch?
Like a face.
Like
Oh,
a fade.
Oh, it definitely looks like a face with a little beard. That is a little weird, I have to say.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I could definitely see a few. I mean, even the colors are unusual.
This looks like a big hand too coming out.
it's almost something about it seems like, I don't know, either the battle creates the light, right? Or something is playing around creating the light and the ships are there to monitor what's going on.
I think that's it for now. I do have some other ones that I'll have to try to pull up that are much clearer. I'll have to find them.
I've never seen anything like this.
I've never seen anything like, and that was May 7th, 2021. And then nothing like that has ever come back to you or before or after.
No.
And did you have any strange after effects like the next day or that night? Any dreams? Any?
No, but I'm always, channeling every day. So,
Any strange channelings? Or
no, not strange ones. No, I'd say that I have like a benevolent team, I guess.
You do? What dimension is your team from? Like which league are they in?
That I don't know.
But what kind of beings are they?
Hundreds of dimensions. I mean, when you think about that, so there's hundreds of dimensions.
Right. There's probably infinite dimensions. Are they more angelic?
According to Cryon, there's hundreds. So I'm going to go with that.
Okay, but are they more of the angelic realm or more ultra celestials?
The ones that work with me. That's a really good question because they shift and change on me. I have my main guides, but once in a while I'll get new ones because I also practice with bringing in new ones and channeling new ones. So they change all the time.
Do you ever channel ETs? You ever channel those?
Not that I'm aware.
I think you will start to.
Well, if I have, I'm not aware. Yeah.
But maybe they'll come through and give you names and sizes. But because
right now I'm channeling the love speakers and the light speakers is what they, as a collective, they'll say. Because I'm always, we're always at one a name. Hey, give us, tell me who this is. But they're always a collective. And so that's what they say that they are now.
And what kind of messages do they give you?
Me, daily messages and
how. When you channel them, what kind of information comes through?
Very philosophy, much more philosophy and helping, right? To raise your vibration, to helping the person that I'm working with and myself, and to bring in more light, bring in more love, and letting go and clearing, lower vibrations or things like that. So they're really just helping me on a humanistic type of reality here, and also with who I work with.
Right. But do you get the sense that something's going on? Right. I mean, I do, like there's an acceleration on the planet now. Do you feel that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have to slow it down. When you channel though, you're slowing it down because there is no time. So for me, yeah, but as soon as you're not in a channeling mode, or if you're in the 3D mode, let's put it that way, definitely time is speeding up.
But so what do you think we're heading towards? What's going on, do you think, in this kind of accelerated period?
Our shift is to bring in more light, to bring in that peace for us, for humans on this earthly plane. So it has been a battle, which is just what I said. And that's kind of even what, Cryon says is, it's the battle right now between the dark and the light. Of course, the light is winning, but that's literally how I felt with what I saw. That's what I mean. I don't think it was really between us. I think whether it was our, these beautiful, amazing beings that are here and helping protect the planet, or whatever it was, I definitely felt it was a back and forth of protection for us. That's my feeling. Doesn't mean it's right. It's just what I get.
Right. Well, you were experiencing it, so I'll trust that. So people have said that.
Everyone has their own truth. That was my truth. I stick to that.
I'll go with that because I wasn't there, but I don't know. Do you think, Elizabeth, there is a battle between light and dark, or is it aspects of the same thing?
Well, yes, it's aspects of the same thing. In the deepest sense, it's aspects of the same thing. Any physical world has to operate in dualities. And the trick always is, how do you transcend those dualities to where you see them as unity? And we can do it with something like black and white. We can make one end of a bar white and the other black and see that they merge into each other or things, but normally it's not that easy. And it's the constant struggle of being in a 3D physical world that you have to accept and cope with these realities and think about what lenses do you see them through. A lot of the lens that humans see through is victim abuser lenses, for example. And maybe we sometimes impose that on things that aren't that way. So what the deep reality is always another question, because we humans have to operate as storytelling creatures who interpret things for ourselves and talk to each other about them. And so, my curiosity in these pictures, and you didn't have any videos, is that right, Kit?
I do, I wasn't for this evening.
I know, I'm sorry, I just sprung that on her because.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't have it prepared.
Yeah, okay, because I'm just curious about, and you didn't actually see the ships until you saw the pictures.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So that's all very interesting. So it's hard to compare it to other ways that ETs, their ships operate when they come into the third dimension, where we can see them. We see them flipping around like crazy, right?
Right. But it's curious. But if these were a battle of good and evil, dark and light, what would it accomplish shooting at each other in the middle of the ocean over Florida? I mean,
it's interesting because I kind of felt like it was a veil. So, the veil is thin. So maybe, and again, I'm just putting this out there as a possibility, infinite possibilities, but maybe it's a possibility that the veil was thin for me to see it, but it really wasn't in this dimension. So,
right.
I mean, that was a thought that I had.
That sounds good. And you captured it.
Like the light might have been a doorway into another, that the light was coming from another dimension, lighting up the cloud from behind, rather than being generated from within the cloud.
Although there were other people that did take pictures, or videos. They were just people locally that had put it on Facebook, and someone said, "Oh, it must be ETs," and then you get the little laughing emojis. And so when I said, it was the ETs I saw, or I saw some of the footage, and they just laugh. And I said, you know what, that they're not in the mindset of where I want to put my attention. So most of them probably just videoed or took pictures of the, what was going on there, but had no idea, because even I just could feel it, and I knew something was going on, but I didn't. So in one of the videos, the ship, so here's the cloud in the center where I'm filming and my husband's taking pictures, but on the left side was where the ship came in, when I didn't see it because my focus was here. It came in, watched it come right in, came right in, then it shot down a beam of light, went back up, moved away, kept coming a few times. So in the video, you can see that.
Wow.
Okay, so does that ship look different from the ones that emerged in the photos?
Yes, it was, you could only see it as like oval, but only part of the light. So it was like one of the other ones, like the green lights. So I kind of keep seeing like the green lights, but it wasn't a perfect, like moons.
But it was different from the ones that showed up in the cloud?
It was different. And if it was circular, I only saw one side of the lights.
And it was moving.
And it was moving. That's what the video shows.
What does that mean?
I don't have them. I'm not sure I can, jump off screen for a moment and see if I can find those photos, and you will see what I'm
if you want to, but let me ask Elizabeth, what does that mean to you, Elizabeth, that it was different than the other ships that we were seeing? Does that mean
I'm just asking questions. I'm a cosmic snoop. I ask questions and I try to get images, and I'm not ready to draw conclusions.
Well, the other images were with a straight line, that it was flat with the green and red and green and red. And then you saw some other individual little ones. So those are like little mini ones. But the one that I saw,
might have been like pods that live on the big ones, but can go off by themselves. And
correct, that is correct. And so what I didn't share was, so in the footage and the photos, I noticed, which was even more strange, was that, you could see the traffic going by. You could see the lights behind my fence that the traffic would go by. So you'd see the headlights and the taillights go by. But at one point, the top of the trees and the bushes all lit up in red, but from the top. And so, and I said, that doesn't make sense. Why? There was no lights to do that, even with all the cars, even an ambulance went by, there's nothing that would have lit them up. And I know this, here it is talking about strange stuff, but it was almost like a crash. And so, which you didn't see, but it literally looked like an explosion from the footage, and it was so fast. But on some of the images, you could see just the tops of the trees all red, and it just looks so incredibly strange.
So actually, that the light from the cloud was actually hitting your trees?
No, the cloud was further from the trees on the top. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a picture. So
do you have a sense of how far from you the cloud was, and was it in the direction of the ocean or inland?
The ocean.
So the cloud could have been over the ocean.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you have any sense of how big that cloud was? Like how many miles across?
Oh my God, it was huge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to get, the size of the ships in relation to the size of the cloud. How much room did they have to have a battle in there?
Right.
Oh no, it was enormous.
Did the cloud change shape like clouds do or was it the same shape?
Very, very minimal. Very, very minimal did it change.
Very weird. Very strange for a cloud. A normal cloud would not be that low to the ground, nor would it sit there at night without moving. That is not a natural cloud.
And no sound.
And no sound from the lightning. That's all very weird. Too bad Ed Mitchell isn't around anymore, because he saw military helicopters that could lift with no sound, no thrust, and things like that. So he knew about some of the things the weapons that were being developed within, that he was shown because of who he is, because he was a personal friend of him and talked about these things.
One more thing before you run off and look for the other stuff is like that other comment that Elizabeth made was the light seemed like to emanate from within, like almost like a portal was opening.
Yeah,
you get the sense?
Yes. All the lights were hidden inside of the cloud. Yes.
Oh, I just had another thought. What if this thing was being generated from within the ocean? What if something was going on under the water and you were seeing the effects of it and some of the monitoring things going on? It's because if it sits there like a mushroom cap sort of on the ocean, what's going on under it?
Well, yeah. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't see. I wasn't at the ocean to see that. So
I mean, it's fascinating. The more I think about it, the more possibilities come up. But then, Paula Underwood, my Indigenous friend I mentioned this morning, her father taught her this rule of 6. Whenever something mysterious is there that you're trying to figure out, you have to think up at least 6 plausible explanations for it.
I haven't come up with any.
Well, the ET battle is one. I don't know if that's plausible, but that's a explanation.
Yeah, well, see, that would be one plausible thing. Could have been an ET battle. Could it have been this? Could it have been that? It's just, it's a way of loosening your mind so that you don't jump to conclusions, is what her father was teaching her.
Do you want to look for the rest of the stuff?
Yeah, let me just let me see if I can find. I'm not guaranteed here, and but I'll try. Just give me a moment.
All right. But let me ask you, Elizabeth, while we're waiting, have you ever seen anything yourself? Because you've been all over the world. You've lived in so many places, met so many people.
Yeah, you know, I've met a lot of firsthand experiencers. I do not consider myself one of them. Have I seen, I think I've seen, you know, strange lights in the woods at some point or things like that. But I wouldn't call myself somebody who's had a lot of experience, actually firsthand information. I usually get the stories from the experiencers, and they're very, very varied. You want, I can tell you of one that's kind of fun.
Tell us, because you know, you've been in this probably longer than most people who are just, and so I'm just also curious, what made you even get into this field or this interest as a scientist? You're a scientist, so.
It's part of being a cosmic snoop, Alan. You look into everything. You look into everything because you're trying to develop a worldview in which everything can happen. And my basic view of the universe is that there's only one principle operating, and that's anything that can happen will happen somewhere in some eternal now. It'll all happen. So the question then is to ask is, what lasts? If anything that can happen will happen, what gets some kind of traction and becomes relatively stable? And I came to the conclusion that it was whatever could develop harmonious relationships with its surround, whatever came into harmony in a give and take way with what surrounded it would then be upheld for longer, which suggests that cooperative things last better than hostilities.
I agree. I totally agree. Do you want to share some of the stories of contact that you have heard?
Well, one that's fun is I met a woman who grew up in South Florida, actually, in Miami. And there was a girl in her school class when she was like in junior high school or so, who was very quiet and didn't seem to have any friends, had a somewhat Asian look. And one day that girl asked her if she would come home with her. And let's call my friend Anne, okay? I'm making up a name.
Okay.
She asked Anne if she would come home with her. And so Anne decided she was interesting enough that she, or, you know, maybe sympathetic, she wanted to know more about this girl, so she followed her home. And she took her through a very impressive, like mansion-sized house almost, and walked straight through the house to the garden. At the back of the garden, it was a little house. And she said, "This is where I actually live. My parents aren't my real parents. I'm actually from Venus, but we live in dimensions that you can't perceive with your instruments."
But can I just ask you, how old are these girls? How old were the girls?
They're like junior high, early high school.
Okay, okay.
And she said, "I'm not going to be around much longer, so I wanted somebody to know who I am and why I'm here, and that we are here to monitor your nuclear developments because they tear up our dimensions as well as yours." And so she showed her a whole a wall of filing cabinets with documents in them, and pulled out a drawer and showed her documents of their interactions with the military, with the, you know, shadow government, if you like, things like that. And she said, "You want to hear how we talk?" And then she talked, and it was like a quadraphonic dolphin sound, my friend said. that So anyway, eventually the girl said that you would always be able to contact me, gave her a way to contact her if she was ever in serious trouble. And the next day, the girl was not in school. And after 3 days of her absence, Anne goes to the house and knocks on an older man who looks too old to be her father, comes to the door and says, yes, she had to leave. And she will, but everything is okay, you know? And so she was afraid to question him anymore. He didn't look like anybody who was abusing children or, you know, whatever. And she had obviously been treated well. She had her own little home there at the back of the garden. That was probably one of the most unusual ones.
But wait, what was the way that she could contact her friend if she was ever in trouble?
She did not say that. I asked her, have you ever used that way? And she said, no, I've never been in serious enough trouble to think I should do so.
Did she tell you the way she could contact that, what she had to do to contact her?
No, she didn't.
Oh.
And I didn't ask her to reveal it. I mean, what good would it have known?
I don't know.
It's just do it.
It's just
between
curious.
her and this.
That
So
I've never heard a story about.
You know, that's a very unusual one. And you know, another one was the Surgeon General of Finland, who was an absolute skeptic about UFOs and was at a conference in the United States where they were talking about ETs and UFOs. And she said, oh yeah, if they're real, send one to my house. So she goes back to Finland and she's sitting in her living room one night and this intense blue light comes by the window and a disc lands outside her window and she pees her pants, right? And then it goes away again. But 2 weeks later, I think it came down again. And before she could be, then she got sort of curious and suddenly she was on it. She doesn't know how she got, but it was on. And it went from there. And she ended up, like my friend Paula, donating her eggs and saying that she visits her kids on the mothership. And you know, I asked her, like, would you ever bring them down? She said, no, you'd think they were ugly. And, you know, she said, look, we're to them like ants are to us. You know, they're like so far superior. They wanted me to stay with them. I would in a flash.
I met that woman.
So-
I met that Finnish woman once. She had left Finland eventually, and she went to I think she moved to Norway or somewhere after that. But I did meet her at a conference. Yeah, I know.
She's trackable. But I had her name. I don't remember it right now, but physician.
Yeah, I think JJ would know her name too. So
She might very well. Anyway, all my stories are positive ones, and I have lots of them.
I love them. Maybe you could tell some more. They are great. Did you hear the story? Did you hear that, Kat?
Maybe Kat found a picture for her.
Yeah.
I found a couple pictures, and but it's none of the leaves or the explosion. But I did find the ones with the ship coming down here. So let's see. Yeah. So let me just share my screen real quick. Okay.
Okay.
So here, I mean, I'm just standing on the other side of my pool. So the cloud is here in the center. And so I was not paying attention to, this is a gigantic pine tree that I have in my yard. And so the ship comes on the left side. And so I'm going to zoom in. This picture is blurry, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, because you'll be able to see it move as I go through each one. So it's behind here.
With a light at the end of it? Is that the light?
It's actually it's one, you know, it's probably circular. You're only seeing the one side of it, but I'm going to go to the next one and you'll be able to see it move further. This one's a little bit dimmer, but I'm going to zoom in anyway so you can see what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lights, it looks like here. You see how dim it is. Keep going and you're going to, so here's another one. And it keeps going. So here
you didn't notice this at the time, but you noticed it here. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I didn't because I'm looking at this crazy cloud, right? I mean, just look at how just the light that's coming off of the cloud right there in that picture.
Right.
I mean, it's incredibly bright. And then the next one. So here's another picture of it. right there.
Wait, where? I'm not, wait, I'm not seeing, oh, yes, yes, yes. That's definitely a craft. It seems to me, that's a great picture. I'm gonna take a, can you zoom in that again? I just want to take a little screenshot.
I might do a better one though, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that is great. I'm just taking a
And I
little.
sent you the video anyway, so.
Right. I didn't go through it because it
And
was a long.
well, you have those images. There's images in what I sent to you.
Oh, okay. Thanks so much for doing that. And for this too. I think this is a great education for people who've never seen.
I don't know how much you can see, but so it started up here and now it's coming down. And the next one, now it's up again.
Uh-huh.
And now look at the clouds too. Can you see that?
Yes. Yes, the clouds are.
No, Elizabeth's not here.
I don't know where she is. Her internet can sometimes be a little.
Oh, okay, so you're watching it here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit further. That one's a little bit blurry. It comes down again. It's even further down.
There it is. That is a great shot of that ship.
Brighter one. Now look at this cloud with it.
Can you zoom into the cloud?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Why is it so bright? I mean, that is the ship heading towards the cloud?
It's our friends anyway. Yes.
Oh. We should go to Mount Shasta and see what's up there. Have you ever been to Mount Shasta?
Waiting for the invite.
I'm inviting you.
I'd love to go.
There are doorways there. A friend of mine just told me, I'm going to have him on my show next week, but he went inside one of these dimensional doorways to the city in there, in that mountain. Anyway, that is definitely something. That I would say you're absolutely right. That looks like a ship to me. Wait, can you just hold it on that for a second? Just close in. I just want to really take that in. Yeah, I mean,
That one's a little bit blurry. I can go back to the other
but
one.
it's something. I mean, that is definitely, those lights are connected. They're not independent lights. They're all connected to one piece of something, right?
And well, I kept thinking, well, if I'm only seeing one side of the ship, but it's completely clear there. I don't know why I would only see. I mean, yeah,
maybe it's shaped like that or something. I don't know. It is strange. Oh,
it's crazy. I mean, that's not a normal lightning storm. Come on.
I wonder what happened to Elizabeth. She would love this stuff. I don't know.
And then I have many more, but I think I'm getting into the blurry section now.
But do you have any, that's the best shots of the ships that you have?
I probably have more, but that's just what I found real quick right now. Yeah.
Wow. No, it's nice to see the lightning lighting up that cloud. So you're taking a long shot from them. So between you is those look like faces.
Oh yeah, there's definitely, it looks like faces in some of them.
Do you think that's a manifestation of the beings somehow?
You know, I don't get too out there, but yeah, I do. Some of them definitely look like in some of the images that I have.
Is that lightning in the lower left on that last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, that to the lower left. That actually looks like a brain in there, that one over there. But and you just didn't want to stay out there longer but it kept going. It could have been going for hours after you left, right?
Yeah, and I don't know when it started, but I definitely watched it and filmed it for over an hour.
Wow. Did it change you in any way? Did it open you up? I mean, did it shift any awareness?
Why? I'd like to say that I'm really connected.
Well, it seems like you're connected to something, but you were connected before that, right?
I was connected before. Maybe I'd like to say I'm connected more now with the work I do.
But are you connected more now? I mean, do you feel that?
I don't know if it was because of this experience, or maybe then I became aware of this experience because I'm more connected, but I also, I practice with my channeling all the time. So I'm always, yeah.
But you don't consciously channel ETs.
No, I don't.
Because if you tapped into my guides, you'd find they were ETs.
Well, I'm gonna call upon them because Alan said so.
You could. They're available. I don't rent them out, but I lend them out. Yeah.
Okay, great. And what are your ETs' names?
Well, they don't have names, but there's this woman, Kamara Jones, who paints the.
Yeah.
Do you know her work?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've heard her.
So she draws the beings that I think I sense around me. Their light language in their bodies. I could show that to people who haven't seen it. Michael, any comments from you? Are you doing
just enjoying the show? Be nice to be there. It looks like a beautiful place you have in Florida with your pool. The weather's nice, and great that you could just be out there at night and enjoying the lights.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the freezing cold. No complaints.
Yes. Are you from
And it's
Florida?
okay during hurricane time?
I'm from the cold, so I know what it's like. So
Where are you from originally?
Are you from the north?
I am from the Northeast, yeah.
The Northeast, like Vermont or something?
Around there, yes.
Oh, okay. And then you've been in Florida for a while.
So it's very cold there. I know what it's like. And
It's very cold in New
20
Hampshire.
below zero doesn't work for me. No.
It is very cold in New Hampshire for sure. But how long you been in Florida for? Like a couple of years? 10
Oh,
years?
no, like 25.
Oh, so you really, and you haven't been back for a winter up north at all, have you?
Unfortunately, I did have to return for a little bit, but that was enough for a long time again. I don't mind. Hey, listen, if you're going to go to the cold, I don't mind a weekend vacation or a week's vacation, knowing I get to come back. But I definitely wouldn't live in the cold again.
It is oh, here's Elizabeth back in.
Oh.
I wonder if, can you show her that picture of the circular ship?
Yeah, is she here?
There she is. Let's see if she gets her camera on. Elizabeth, oh, welcome back.
Hi, I have no idea what happened, but
the ETs took you.
Took me out right when you started to show the picture of the ship coming in, or was it a video?
No, that was a couple of photos. And I do have better ones, but this is just last minute.
I saw the first photo.
Oh, you did? All right. Well, that was a little blur. I'll show you one.
Yeah, show her again because I'm actually impressed because they really got something.
A video, so you can watch it.
Well, I know. Oh, I have the video. Well, but it's long, so I don't know which part. I mean, it's like an hour, isn't it?
Well, that's just the Zoom video because remember when you're videoing, it's really fast. So a lot of the stuff that I broke down, I went frame by frame. I mean, hours and hours and hours of frame by frame to see things that you would never see with the naked eye watching this video. So I would write down the time. So then I did a Zoom video with a group, and I pulled up those times and I put it in slow motion because you would miss everything that there's no way you would have been able to see it.
But the video you sent me, how long is the video you sent me? Is that the whole thing?
That was my Zoom one for about an hour, 10 minutes here in the beginning chatting,
right.
10 minutes after chatting. So there was definitely a few little clips, enough to give you a taste of what's there. But as far as the original video, of course, I have the original video, but breaking it down to be able to see stuff you wouldn't be able to see it. That's what's so incredible. Some of the stuff that we would see was like, it was so fast that you definitely need professional tech, who's really good at this tech work to break it down and see it.
Great. Well, show Elizabeth a few more pictures of the ship because and you missed Elizabeth's story about the woman from Venus. That was really good.
I heard. I was yes, I did. It's an amazing story.
That is an amazing. I've never heard one like that. Okay. Here we're back in the South Florida skies.
Hold on. Where am I?
Mhm.
Okay. So these were, let me just back up here really fast. I was scanning through a lot of the crazy clouds, but I must have shown you a lot of them. Hold on. Geez, is this how many I showed you already?
Wow.
Oh dear, I think I lost them. See, this is what I'm saying. You didn't prepare me, Alan.
That's okay. We can, well, we'll do more with you, of course, because especially now that you've opened your channeling up to ETs.
Channeling to ETs. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. I found them
Here.
right here. Okay, so this one's a little bit blurry. So here is this, my big giant palm tree. Can you see that? Palm tree, pine tree on the left.
Pine tree, yes.
Right? And so the ship is here, and you can see the movement. My phone wasn't moving. I wasn't moving where I was videoing. So you can see where the branches are, and I'm going to zoom in here. So this is it here on the left between these branches.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go to the next photo. Again, this one's a little bit blurry still, but you get to see it here. You see that?
Yes, you see that, Elizabeth?
Okay.
Oh, yes.
It's like a circular ship.
Right.
Here's
But-
another.
Oh, it's like rotating because we're seeing different parts of that empty space, sort of like it. And then it comes around the front, that empty space, because then we're
Crescent shape.
right.
Here's a clearer picture, and look at the cloud.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, and that is very interesting.
So that doesn't look like a single ship. It looks like a formation. Doesn't it?
Unless all those lights are connected on the outside of the ship, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be.
Okay.
Another
That's
one.
Definitely unusual.
That's a great one. That's really
Yeah.
something.
That's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting
So
very
what it does is it moves right down into the cloud. And again, you'll see that on the video. Now these are blurry, so there's
So
no
you
point.
could see the same, it does look like your chandelier in your house there.
But is that the
It
one
does.
that, is that the one that sent the beam down from it?
Yeah. Yeah, but in the video, again, it has to be broken down so it's not as bright. So it actually, so the cloud is, again, see how big, I mean, this is only one edge of the cloud. So it comes all the way over here. And the ship moves right into the center, almost to the center, just to the left of the cloud, and then shoots a beam down and then goes back up into the pine trees, behind the pine trees.
Oh, it goes back after it shoots the beam down. That's interesting.
That's what I mean. It comes down, shoots the beam, and then goes back up and goes behind the pine tree.
Wow.
And that is in the video. So go ahead and watch it, Alan.
I will watch it. I just thank you for orientating me here. Yes. Well, no, this is great. And you feel like your channeling has shifted, or am I just making that up?
See, my channeling is getting better every day. Let's say it that way.
Well, that's good. I'm sure it is.
I practice with an amazing mentor that also assists. So, yeah.
You're working with a mentor now?
Yep. Yep.
A channeling mentor.
Yes.
So are you a trance channel? So you lose your everyday consciousness and something comes through.
There's, again, channels are either they're so far away, like Jay-Z Knight, and they're gone, or there's channels who are like, Lee Carroll, who's right there and can hear everything.
Right. Which one?
I'm more like.
You're more like Lee Carroll?
Yeah, and I realized why is because when I channel on my own, I'm listening to their messages. You always say to your spirit guides, listen to what they're saying. So I'm always listening. So it's there's a challenge for me to not listen, to be somewhere else. I try to certainly be out of the conscious mind as far away as I can so that the messages can come through. But I'm just in the habit of hearing every single thing that they say. I watch, I'm interested. So that's a Virgo in me, always trying to control stuff.
Well, everyone has that. But, I've listened to a lot of Ramtha through Jay-Z Knight for like 20 years. I was that was my my spiritual, like, coming of age there. So I'm used to those kind of trance channel, like Bashar, Darryl Anka.
Amazing. I've been following him so long. So yes, I know.
Yeah, and he's a great guy. Darryl actually wrote a chapter in my book. Did you see my book?
Your book is right there. So.
Oh, thanks. Let me know what you think about that. Very Elizabeth wrote a very nice blurb for that. Thank you for that, Elizabeth. But whenever you're in the mood, not today maybe, but at some point, maybe you could bring through some messages from these beings, and ask them actually what was happening that day in May. Have you thought about channeling about that?
No, that's it. Well, actually, somebody else told me to do that, but I guess I'm so caught up in doing my other stuff that I actually kind of forgot to ask them. So yeah.
What is your other stuff that you're doing?
Well, my psychic mediumship. Yeah, my work there. So talking to your loved ones in spirit. There's a whole different element there.
Totally. No, I know. No, there's a woman who comes on the show like mostly every week, Marla, and she's a medium. But then we started talking about this other thing, and sort of like she's felt like it was a shift from the kind of those passing over to the astral to these other dimensional beings, entities. So there's a kind of shift, I guess, in tuning your channel antenna to that, as opposed to, like, I guess, astral, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I'm sure some people channel what they say is the angel realm. So, and then you have the fairy realm. There's so many different dimensions that you can tune into. Again, it's like tuning in your radio dial. So, yeah.
Right. But when you tune in
your ETs,
say that.
I'm going to tune into your ETs.
Oh yeah, tune into my ETs.
What do you think about Alan?
Well, I'm sure they have. It's like anyone; they have good and bad things to say. But
all good. Yeah.
But no, I'm curious because I think channeling is one. It's one of those magic gifts we can all do, and then some people are really good at that, transcending the ego mind in order to get pure information. I think a lot of the great inventors, thinkers, artists, creators were channels, scientists, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I 100%. We have to be able to, where does that come from? You have to get out of that external environment of the chaos thinking mind and tap into your heart, and that's really where it comes from, your heart space, and being able to be in alignment with, knowing that there's much more to life than just what we are seeing with our visual eyes and the cup I'm drinking from. There's much more than that. And so, being able to get your conscious mind out of the way, tune into your heart space. And that's how I work with my heart space. So I work in that space, in that light, and, and bring myself up to that awareness, a different vibration, different frequency, and allowing which is benevolent to come, because it can, just like people here, we have, ones that may be for our highest good loving or not.
So you channel, like you open your heart space, and then from that space, you allow something to come through. Is that it?
Yes, that's how I work. Yes.
Wait, Elizabeth, you're muted. We don't want to miss anything.
I'm I just wanted to ask whether Kat, do you always know who it is you're channeling? Which entity?
Well,
You channel different ones, I assume.
well, I have, and again, it's a feeling of the energy of them. So I have the ones that work with me all the time that I feel that are my main guides. I call them guides today. And so I know that feeling. It's a very comfortable feeling. And then so if I am bringing in somebody new, I'm inviting someone new with my mentor is how. So it's not like letting in every Tom, Dick, and Harry, okay? Right? You have your door wide open and just like letting anybody come walking in. So, I really, make it a sacred space when I'm working that way. But my guides, my main guides, yes, I know the feeling. As far as the names with them, again, most of them don't, some will give a name, we all know that, right? Bashar, and, but some don't. And so, and of course that conscious mind is always asking, all right, give me a name, just give me a name so I can give it to somebody else to say who I'm channeling. And so the most recent they said is that they're called, all right, they go, okay, fine, we will give you the name as we are the love speakers and the light speakers. So that's just what they said recently, because I said, you got to give me something. You got to give me something, because I'm working all the time. And so that's what they said at the moment.
Are those two different groups, the love speakers and the light speakers, or is that the same?
It's interesting because they're two separate, but they work together. So love and light, right? It's the same, it's love and light. It just as you're hearing it now, that's kind of how I feel. They go together and they work together. So typically when they're working with me, they're opening up, they're saying, we're working, with your heart space, love, open that space up. And now bring in that light space, the tower of light. So the tower of love, the tower of light, that's how they work with me. Now, years ago, I didn't have a mentor. I was channeling on my own. And so it was very new to me, and lots of little different feelings and, of their energy was a little bit, and maybe it was much different. Maybe it was ETs at that time. I have no idea, because it was very new to me. And like I said, I didn't even know people did this until I was actually first introduced to the teachings of Bashar. And so that's really when I started really, really tuning into the channeling. And so I followed him for a very long time. And then I realized, wow, okay, so there are people that do this, not just me. So, and it's like opening the door to the floodgates of how many people actually channel and do this work. So, but I definitely, now I know I don't, whether they're named or not, I feel and know the feeling of who they are in their energy.
When you say you have a mentor, is that a physical mentor or a?
Yes. Yes, he's a teacher. He's a trance teacher.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because some people have etheric mentors as.
Well, I do. They are, right? I mean, call them the love speakers or the light speakers or no name at all. They are our mentors, actually. So yes, but I actually have a physical person here that helps me with that. Or to practice. That's what I said. You should be always practicing to develop what you do and what you're here to do, and to be able to be of service and help enlighten and raise our vibration to help this planet, or at least the reality that you live in. I would like my reality to always be blessed. How about that? So I'm always going to practice. So I'll practice. Raise my vibration on a daily basis, the best that I know how.
And do they have I think I asked you, but do they have like a overall message for, I mean, you don't have to channel now, but I'm just curious, like a bigger message for the planet, to like what we should pay attention to at this really transformational moment?
Well, it's interesting because right now I feel it's much more on a personal level, but as a whole, but the personal level is really about, and see, that's what I was saying before, is that prior to me working through my heart, I didn't know how to do that. So they are always teaching me that space, and that is what raises vibration. So and that's what I'm now teaching. I'm on, Clubhouse. I know we've been on a couple rooms there. So Clubhouse, I do a lot of helping them working through their heart space. And so, not that I'm teaching trance channeling there, but certainly I think that's what, as a teacher that I'm doing, mentoring other people to help them, is because of what they've taught me. So working through your heart, you know, finding that balance of peace and joy in your life and gratitude, that's what helps everybody. That's what helps everybody shift the energy.
And does that, and
Alan,
your life is affected by that too.
I think Elizabeth.
Alan,
But
Alan,
is it your time? Are you turning into a pumpkin, Elizabeth?
I'm turning into a pumpkin. It's my 85 years old thing that 90 minutes is kind of my limit. But
Okay.
I'm
You'll meet
really
me, Elizabeth, but
so happy to meet you, Kat. And I hope that you'll come back so that we can do some more with you.
thank you so much. It was a blessing to meet you. So grateful. And but you're infinite, as you know, not 85. That's just what your ID says.
Elizabeth, hope to see you next week. But Kat, you
Okay.
can hang out for a little while longer. And Michael.
Okay, you chat with her.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Thanks for waking up early today too.
Michael, bye. Okay, thank
See you next week, Elizabeth.
Love to you, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Elizabeth is a superstar. She is one of the groundbreaking scientists. She's spent her life as a scientist and an evolutionary biologist, you know, working really at the forefront of consciousness and science. So it is incredible. Look her up, Elizabeth Sahtouris. And
I have her in your book right here behind me.
oh, no, she's not actually in. I maybe referenced her, but she didn't write a chapter in that book because I only really got to know her after that.
Well, she was on, did you have her on Clubhouse?
Yeah.
She came one day because I thought I listened to her on Clubhouse.
Maybe she was on Clubhouse, but she's usually, I do a roundtable. She's been, I guess, Michael, last like 6 weeks here every Wednesday night. She really offers
She's a
a lot.
regular.
She is a regular. You could be a regular too, actually, if you want to.
Count me in there, Alan. Thank you.
And
So
you could
what
bring
are you
in
doing
friends.
on Clubhouse? What are you teaching there? You're just teaching about gratitude and
Well,
you have a
I
group
do mediumship readings. I do a little intuitive, you know, helping people in their lives. I can just instantly connect and see some type of blockage, what's going on, or a childhood trauma, and clearing that space. A lot of the channels, I get a lot of downloads of prayers, you know, similar to Kimberly Meredith, and prayers has been definitely something that's really shifted the energy and helped myself and others. And but they're guided. They're all guided prayers. And prior to that, I didn't do that. You know, so I didn't actually believe in prayer. So I know that, you know, definitely a shift in my life is brought me to the awareness of the power of prayer, the power of your voice, the power of your words, your spoken words. You disappeared there.
Oh no, sorry. I was just checking the chat because sometimes on the YouTube chat, somebody has a question or a comment or something I have to erase because it's a little too much. But when are you going to be on Clubhouse again? Because I'll check in there with you.
I'm typically on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. On Tuesday, my club is the I Am Love Club. I'm going to promo hit there. I Am Love Club on Tuesdays at 12 Eastern time. I also work in Mystical Realms Club on Mondays at 12 Eastern time, and that's usually mediumship readings, and Wednesdays Aligned Reality. So Aligned Reality is my friend Rachel Adams, perfect name, right? So she teaches intuitive development. So we kind of work together with that. But again, it's kind of I kind of get guided as far as a topic, and depending on who's in the group, who's in the room, and how the conversation unfolds, it just can be like, I have your loved one here and giving all the details, or it's like, I see something going on in your life that needs to be addressed, and, something to that effect. But I definitely, help them through working through their heart and shifting their energy and helping them.
So when you do mediumship readings, you actually see or sense the family member right there with the person?
Yeah. So
how does it show up for you? Yeah.
Well, Each one is different. So I'm very clairaudient. So I hear them, what they tell me. And also the knowing, there's a knowing instantaneously. So it's very similar to my channeling, because the more I get my conscious mind out of the way, the more that they can, them in spirit can kind of really blend with me and give me the feeling of who they were. So, but if my conscious mind cat gets in the way, the little ego mind that says, well, what did you say? And, and is this making sense? And, questioning them, then I'm in the way for them to be able to give the message. So I really, really believe that my trance channeling has really helped me to move my conscious mind out of the way to be able to give the messages. And so they come in different ways. Sometimes I'll get a flash and a visual. So very clairaudient, clairvoyant, and, in a sensing, just a knowing. And so they really give me a feeling whether they, pass from, there was some chest issues or lung issues or,
But you do medical mediumship too, right?
A little bit of medical medium. I don't advertise that. If it comes again, I do so many little things that it's really what is most prevalent and most important for you at that moment. So I don't tune into just one thing. Everybody's individual. Everybody needs something different.
I think you'll like Marla, who's usually on the show. Marla, right, Michael? Don't you think she'd?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, Marla's lovely. You'll like her.
She goes deep and similar in the way of heart opening, love, really looking for bringing that person to their highest potential in whatever realm. And you're going to be at the New Life Expo. You come on our UFO panel, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
With JJ and Desiree Hurtak. You know the Hurtaks? Have you looked at?
I mean, I've seen them only on your show, but I have not. I don't know them personally.
Look up the Keys of Enoch. It's very intense, multi-dimensional. It's probably the most multi-dimensional book I've ever read. But
okay. I look forward to reading it, definitely.
Just look it up online. See if you can make like kind of see what you get from it. I'm just curious when you look at. So come back next week.
I absolutely will. I mean, my studies are daily cryon work as well. So, I mean,
what's cryon work? What do you mean?
The cryon. I mean, I do his circle of 12.
Oh, I don't know what is. I've interviewed him. Did you see my interview with Lee? But
I don't know. I've seen so
many.
But
I don't really follow his work. I liked him. He's a nice guy. But what's his circle of 12?
Well, that's a whole healing circle. I mean,
that he leads.
He leads it every Wednesday, and it's also a membership. But the first Wednesday of every month is free and open to everyone, and then the membership is for the rest of the month. But all of them will be available free, as he always gives does that in the future. But you can find anything. For me, I mean, I just between Daryl Angra and Lee Carroll and Cryon, I mean, just good.
Well, Daryl has a chapter in my book.
I know. I look forward to reading that. I saw that. No, I'm excited to read.
And have you seen my classic interview with Daryl? Did you ever see that?
I'm not sure. I've seen so many of you, but who knows? I've been following you for years, by the way. So.
You have? How come we never met?
Well, I don't know. It's just kind of lined up. I thank you, Kimberly Meredith.
Yeah, Kimberly is, yes, she's a great connector for me in those realms. But no, thanks for watching all these years, because I try to cover the whole scene, the whole multidimensional.
What's fantastic is what you've all done is that you're bringing awareness, and that's the thing. I wasn't brought up with any of this. So even though I had seen spirit when I was younger, I had nobody to talk to. I didn't know that this is something that we could actually tune into and follow and learn more about.
And talk about every day.
I mean, this is so commonplace. It's just amazing. It's just literally amazing. And that's you and everyone here in this group that keeps raising the vibration and the consciousness of the planet. I mean, it's just incredible. So I'm so grateful.
It is an upgrade we're going through, and that's why I'm so interested in what you're getting as you kind of tap into those realms. Like, what kind of insights on those levels, but we could talk about that sometime when you're ready to do that for whoever's listening.
It's a date. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we'll do that. Thanks so much for showing your cosmic, I guess I wouldn't call it a battle. I don't know if it was a battle really. It's an encounter. It's
your own opinion. Everyone's, opinion is valid.
I mean, it could have been. I just don't know if it was that.
Well, those are still images that you saw. So when you see a little bit more of,
I'd like to.
I get a different feeling. And again, it was just my feeling. So.
Right. It might be for sure. I mean, but I always wonder who's battling what and what's the point.
Well, I'm trying to ask.
Ask. Could you ask when you're ready? Not today, if you're too, but ask, was it a battle? Was it a doorway opening? Was it just for us? Were they doing it for them? Maybe they were just doing it for you or something. This is what Grant Cameron says, if you're seeing a UFO, you were meant to see it. There's no us innocent bystanders in the UFO field.
Maybe they were battling to protect me. Okay, I'm just teasing.
They could be.
I'm a light worker here, so okay.
Help that light worker down there. But
there's so many dimensions, there's so many realities that, it was just a feeling that I really felt that there was, something that was way bigger than what, still images show. That's just how I felt.
Right. No, I'm sure you're right because you were there and you're sensitive. And so good. Well, thanks, Kat. Any final words there, Michael?
No, just Kat, thanks. Lovely to meet you and look forward to having you come and join us on another occasion.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I'm just going to say one. I just want to see if there's a question on the chat for you or anything. Oh, someone asked about the clubhouse. Can you just repeat that again? Your clubhouse?
Sure. My club is I Am Love. That's the name of the club. I Am Love.
Okay.
And it is open. If you send emails and you want to host a topic that is relative to any of this stuff, as long as it is for our highest good, and of course that it's a loving space. And so send me a little message on there. And if you'd like to host something, any intuitive, psychic, mediumship, ETs, you name it. You look at my list of again, I'm open to a lot of wonderful things that, is out there in the world for us if we tune into it, And
I'm happy to host stuff here too. If you want to bring some friends on here next week too, you can invite whoever you want.
Thank you so much. Well, I look forward to seeing you both again. Thank you for having me.
Stay in touch and we will do more for sure. Thanks. I really appreciate you both being here and everyone watching and whatever's coming up. Tune into if you're around this weekend, Kat, PortalToAscension.
Absolutely.
Maybe we get you on one of those panels too. I'll see if there's room for something there.
Awesome. Well, I will get some footage together so it's really clear and a nice little slideshow.
Okay.
All right.
That'd be great too.
Thank you.
Okay. See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.